Hey guys, welcome back. BGCKR here. We're back with the weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of March 3rd, 2022. The current character challenge is Killer Frost Prime. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters are Joker, Nightwing, and Superman, who are silver, bronze, and gold, respectively. Her passive is Best Served Cold, which dampens all opponents' power generation by 50%. She's got 850 attack, 1200 health, and was last available on the 6th of May, 2021.
Despite having really kind of lowish stats, her passive is more than enough to make her relevant. Power damping, it's a super powerful strategy, and despite the presence of Tantu Totem, which is not affected by it at all, it still makes a difference because not everybody can have it. And a lot of times Tantu Totem is used in conjunction with Master's Death card, and that this totally affects Master's Death card's power generation. And I absolutely know too, despite her biggest strength being her passive, I don't like to face her when she's got 2 bars of power because there's a bunch of unblockable damage at the end of her special too. And what's made her a little bit more interesting was Necron Scythe, because that was the first gear that boosted damage against frozen opponents, and she freezes opponents in the middle of her special 2. And the problem is not that it's a special 2, it's that a bunch of the damage happens before the freezing.
Yeah.
So you only boost a fraction of it, but it's still enough to make it better. And I think it's uncontroversial to say that she's the best of the 2 Killer Frost skins. She's better than Regime Killer Frost because the Regime Killer Frost dampens healing, which is, to me, less relevant. And she will dampen power when she does a special 2, but our Killer Frost does it all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody generates power. Only very specific characters and specific gears involve healing. I think just power damping is way more relevant.
Yeah.
I think that she's a great combination to have with Earth 2 Solomon Grundy. Combined on a team, when an Earth 2 player is facing the opponent basically generates no power, which I think is great. And one of the interesting things, a bit of trivia from way back when she was first introduced, and she was game-changing, and she was difficult to handle in multiplayer. It wasn't because of her passive, it was because the AI cheated with her and tagged her super fast out.
Oh, yeah.
It was, do you remember that? It was just... it was almost unbalancing when the AI sort of imitated playing like a human player would, where if Killer Frost was in or out, the algorithm for deciding when to tag her in or out was sort of broken for her and her only.
Yeah.
So she was sort of a real wild card. So as far as the challenge goes, we are still missing 23 characters. So there's only 43 characters that have shown up in the last 93 weeks, which is 2 43-week cycles, plus this is the 7th week into the 3rd version of the cycle. Still no sign of those 23 missing characters.
This week's multiplayer reward is Arkham Origins Deadshot, and his passive is Trick Shot, which is bullets from Deadshot's sniper rifle and wrist guns ricochet, dealing damage to all characters on the enemy team. When Arkham allies are in combat, each 10 seconds Deadshot will shoot the enemy with an electrified round, draining enemy power. He was last available on the 29th of July 2021, so this is the 61st week in a row of a complete cycle of the rewards. And 30 in a row of the repeat cycle. So it's 31 all in sequence, 30th in a row of the repeat. Next week we should see Mother Box.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a mistake last week in our notes. Last week we mentioned Cassandra came back early. We should have actually said Mother Box. It's not that there's a change in cycle. It was our mistake. And I forgot to mention, if the pattern holds for the challenges, next week it's going to be Kandak Black Adam.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So... yeah, what's to be said? Arkham Origins Deadshot.
Yeah, he's got really high stats. I mean, he's one of the latest... I mean, it feels weird saying, because it's been a couple of years, he's one of the newest multiplayer characters. Not that new, though. It's because it's a couple of years old. And the first part of his passive makes him both a good basic damage dealer and special specialist, because of the way it's worded with shots. His tap attacks shoots bullets. His specials both shoot bullets. So he's going to do splash damage with both.
Mm-hmm.
So in his tap combo, first hit is a punch, second hit is a shot from his wrist cannon, and half the time he goes into his third hit, and half the time you end up repeating his first and second hit over and over, like in a sort of repeating cycle.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good offensive passive in general, and if you really wanted to lean into it, I think Batman as a Joker can add more splash damage, right? Because he counts as one of the shooting teammates. And so the interesting thing, though, is... So here's the thing. I mean, I feel like we've gotten a skewed perspective of splash damage. And in general, although it may not be obvious, that aside from characters like Batgirl and Luchador Bane, Special 2 is actually more useful as splash damage, even though typically you do less splash damage, just because Special 2s do way more. Batgirl and Luchador Bane are unusual exceptions, because they're stun boosted damage with Cloak or Necron Scythe, plus being able to stun on tag-in. So before you start the special with Luchador Bane, or right at the beginning of the special one, like any of the Batgirls, means that both of them generates way more special one damage than anybody else. So it actually is not, I don't want to say unbalancing, but it shifts the balance of power in a fight in a way that I don't think any other character's special one, except maybe Deathstroke, but not with splash damage, does. And the second part of his passive can potentially drain a bar and a half of power, so that becomes even more important in fights when you're facing him to finish it quickly so he doesn't have a chance to drain you. We've got a series of videos on him. We'll link a playlist in the description, and we've had him in multiplayer as a basic damage dealer, a special specialist, and then a splash damage special specialist, that sort of subset of special specialists. And I think one of the extra things that makes him good is just that he's Arkham, because that means you can take advantage of Arkham Knight Batgirl as a teammate and that general Arkham synergy. And like, I think every Arkham character is better because of the existence of Arkham Knight Batgirl.
Yeah.
I can say that. I think, the same way that every Flashpoint character is better as a result of the existence of Flashpoint Batman. Yeah.
So there we go. In the store, we have the Kondak Black Adam pack for $24.99 Canadian. It doesn't unlock. It's a clue to next week for the challenge, and unfortunately, this is one of the ones that comes with no credits. It's not like we're buying them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it always feels like a little bit of a jip or a little bit of a rip off. I need to stop saying that word.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, and we've got the character bundle that we've got this week. A couple of character bundles. There's one that's the Lantern Elite, $24.99. It showed up 3 times in the last year, and it's 2 Hal Jordans, either Yellow Lantern or Red Lantern. You don't get power credits. They're interesting characters. They're not great, but it really shows you why the Kondak Black Adam one is such a ripoff, because he's coming next week. Yeah. You get the character, and for the same price, this pack, you get 2 characters.
Yeah, we also have the Justice League pack for $24.99 Canadian, and that comes with Superman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman Regime. So Aquaman is a challenge. The other 2 are available in the store. So it's these are always hard to exactly sort of compare the value of, but it's got a higher value in credits at the very least. Right. And it gives you a challenge character that you can't get next week.
That's true.
We also have, in terms of stuff that's been around for a while, the Survivor pack has been around for 8 weeks. The character bundle Batman Universe is on its 13th week now. Most Wanted pack has been around for 20. And the Celebration packs, those 300 Nth Metal packs, all 3 are still available. So Joker, Aquaman, and Shazam are all celebrating.
Having a lot of fun.
Yeah. In our Survivor, we have the LexCorp gear set until the 9th of March 2022. Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough was Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion. Last weekend's breakthrough was Bane, Killer Frost, and Ares. This weekend's breakthrough is Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion. And if you're looking for the breakthrough cycle yourself, where there isn't somebody to misread it, you can check out the links in the description to a Reddit thread from user Devlin16.
And moving on to current glitches. So what we've said we were going to do is once a month, we're actually going into detail with a recap of our glitches, and we'll refer back to it. And this is the beginning of the month again.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about it in more detail, even though every working glitch is explained in a video. Each video is a tutorial that's part of the playlist that you can reach by clicking the eye in the top right corner of this video or in the description. We are Android only, and specifically Android 9, I think. So we can only confirm these glitches ourselves for Android 9. But we've got some interesting, I guess, comments from viewers about stuff.
So starting with the significant not working glitches, stuff you might want to do, all stuff that you could do in the past that you can no longer do. There's no working glitch for credits. There's a glitch that we didn't endorse, might not still be working on the current update. And we talked about why we don't endorse it on Season 6, Episode 9 of our P&Q and CNA&T. But basically it was just, a little risky for our liking. We weren't willing to try it out.
And when you say update, so we're talking like a bug fix update that had no content. It was relatively recent, but not the kind of update that people actually want.
Yeah. In terms of other stuff, a glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards not working. A glitch for early multiplayer season rewards also not working. Nothing to get through the Phantom Zone supernaturally quickly, although we do have an 8-minute and 20-second record.
That we've posted, and an 8-minute 17-second one that we have not.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then the glitch to let you get free energy without watching the video is not working. You either have to watch the video or...
I feel funny mentioning that too, because it feels like such a minor glitch, but it was so significant when we were filming and we wanted to do a run of 7, and we wouldn't have to pay or use up any of our recharges.
It's true.
Yeah.
Moving on to the working glitches.
Yeah, so the glitch to reset the challenge is working, confirmed on the current Killer Frost challenge. It is the same glitch that we use for Phantom Zone when it's around, so just keep that in mind. It's easy to get in the habit of just resetting it, but make sure that you're aware that you're going to be resetting the progress in both when both are around, because you might do it inadvertently when you're taking a break from one and realize, oops, I done screwed up.
Yeah.
Because we are on Android 9, we don't have this issue. Viewers on Android 10 might have to re-download a full gig of data when you clear app data to do it. So a possible solution that we've cut and pasted into the description from viewer 10 and Kakde is which files to move around from what folders, so that instead of deleting it and re-downloading it, you are just shifting it out of the folder and then shifting it back once you've completed the challenge reset.
So there we go. The breakthrough glitch that you play repeatedly is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working, so that's good for any time you're getting a random reward from a pool of rewards and you don't explicitly need an online connection to do it, that you can do it offline, which means that doesn't work in the Phantom Zone, and obviously it doesn't work if you're paying real money to buy a pack.
Right.
Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survival play and energy recharges. As always, return your clock back to normal before you finish up and start playing again as usual.
And finally is our non-working glitch, and non double negatives and single negative. It's basically a glitch in limbo. It works under specific conditions. It has worked under those specific conditions every time those conditions were around, but those conditions have not been there for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And we just are sticklers. It's in that list mainly because it's never failed us once. When it fails us one time when it should be working is when we'll remove it from that list, even though you really can't do it.
It's in there on a technicality.
Yeah.
So there we go. And last but not least, we'd like to give a huge thank you to all the lovely folks who support us on Patreon. So that's a thank you to BomboBen, Consul Peasant, and Edwoon at the top tier last word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn, Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, and Eddydoo, who are supporting us on the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer 241, Pavu RS, Gavin, Mallott, and Isfar E at the gratitude level. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.